Hello dear friends, let's talk about problems of Peugeot 508. The Peugeot 508 shows that the car maker is seriously considering improving the reliability of its vehicles. Overall, however, the Peugeot 508 can be rated as a good level of reliability. Occasional sporadic power problems occur. Sometimes there is a problem with parking sensors, navigation, sometimes an alarm or central locking. Much of the electronics problem has been solved by software upgrades. When purchasing, the functionality of the air conditioning must be checked. Chassis resistance is at a decent level, however, the braking components show poor life, especially because of the relatively high weight of the vehicle. The VTI and THP engines of the EP series contain the so-called maintenance-free chain that should last the entire life of the engine, and replacement should be in rare cases. Unfortunately, the reality is different, and the chain belongs to the weaker parts of the drive unit. While the atmospheric VTI problems were very well eliminated and the chain had to be changed in the case of higher mileage, in the case of 1.6 THP the resistance of the chain to torsional vibrations is significantly worse. In addition to the stretch timing chain, a hydraulic spanner is often a problem. A stretched chain also makes a higher noise level, problems with uneven engine operation, or a warning light about engine failures appears. Because a strange chain causes the transmission of incorrect information, phase shift from the camshaft sensor and crankshaft to the engine control unit. In the event of a failure, the chain skips, which means engine failure and in some cases engine damage. On VTI and THP petrol engines, problems can be caused by VVT solenoid valves, in addition to the engine failure lamp. An engine shutdown, power loss, or sudden acceleration can occur. With petrol engines, there is also an ignition malfunction. The engine runs on fewer cylinders, uneven operation, jerking, and the like. Preventing ignition coil damage is a regular replacement for spark plugs. It is recommended not to later than 50,000 kilometers, and for more frequent worship in the city, it is recommended to replace the candles at 30,000 kilometers. Occasionally, an engine malfunction lamp appears on a gasoline engine due to a faulty oxygen sensor. A higher risk if the vehicle is driven more frequently on shorter routes. For 1.6 THP engines, excessive soot deposition occurs over time, especially in the intake section and on the intake valves. This is due to the recirculation of exhaust gases containing soot particles as well as oil vapor that penetrates the intake manifold through the crankcase ventilation system, as well as around the piston rings that have low pressure on the cylinders for the lowest friction losses. Such oil gases then carbonize and beride the engine with carbon. In addition to suction and suction valves, soot is also deposited in the combustion chamber. Together with deposits on the intake valves, carbon deposits in the combustion chamber cause detonation combustion. During engine operation, the soot gradually heats up to a high temperature and causes self-priming of the ejected fuel. The detonation combustion sensor records these signals and sends a pulse to the control unit, which then reduces the angle before ignition to avoid detonating combustion. The ignition of the mixture is delayed so that it burns late and will not be able to deliver all its energy. The result is a loss of power and an increase in consumption. With a long-lasting detonation problem, there are problems with pistons and engine damage. As a preventive protection, it is recommended to add quality fuel or occasionally add additives to the tank. In addition to cleaning, these additives or ingredients reduce and eliminate the accumulation of soot. Importantly, these fuels of products should be used regularly. Ideally, after each refueling minimum. Every other third tank, single or short-term use, has no significant effect. Sometimes 1.6 THP motors have a problem with falsely indicating the coolant temperature, resulting in the engine not warming up to the engine operating temperature. In case of higher mileage, sometimes problems are caused by electricity control of the turbocharger engine, resulting in a reduction in engine power. With higher mileage, coolant leaks. The water pump is mainly to blame for this leak. With higher mileage, the following problems can occur: turbocharger overload control blades, loss of power engine failure lamp, or excessive nozzle wear, resulting in uneven and noisy engine idling, poor cold start, poorer performance or at full power, excessive overflow fuel, and the engine goes into safety mode and the engine power lights is on. In practice, there are problems with piezoelectric injectors used in 1.6 HDI 8V Euro 5 motors. Injectors have a shorter service life and a slightly higher frequency of failure. Attention should also be paid to overloaded vibrations, jerking while driving or accelerating from lower revs with noise. Higher mileage comes with problems with the EGR valve, more frequent urban short distances, distance driving, which is manifested by the jerking of the engine during acceleration, also by repeated shutdown shortly after starting and the engine failure lamp illuminated. Greater turbocharger wear is usually manifested by the penetration of oil into the intake tract, lower fluctuating performance, or greater noise. For diesel engines, it is advisable to top up with high-quality diesel and change the fuel filter regularly. The greater the amount of impurities contained in the diesel fuel, the faster the filter is clogged, resulting in less acceleration or loss of power at higher RPM. More impurities are, of course, a risk even for clogged injectors, leading to a difficult start or malfunction of the engine. Often the injectors can be cleaned professionally, but sometimes cleaning does not help. With more miles, oil leaks can occur, which is often the result of crankcase ventilation leaks. The one with the 1.6 HDI, due to improper oil pan design, it is not impossible to drain all the oil from the engine, so it is recommended to change the engine oil more often, up to 15,000 kilometers, preferably 10,000 kilometers, and from time to time at least once every 100 kilometers, disassemble and thoroughly clean the oil through. Otherwise, the deposits then remain at the bottom, contaminate the content of the new oil, which has an adverse effect and causes greater wear of the engine and its components. Diesel engines are equipped with a particulate filter, FAP, and the service life varies depending on how the vehicle is used, around 200,000 kilometers. Sometimes the life of the filter is longer, but sometimes even shorter, especially if the vehicle is used for shorter routes, city driving, the filter fails to regenerate well. Filter problems usually occur with the help of indicator light, switching the engine to safety mode. Approaching the end, clogging of the FAP filter is usually reported with an increased frequency of regeneration, with a slight increase in consumption. Of course, the condition of the engine injection system and EGR valve also affects the life of the DPF. With manual transmissions, sometimes more noise occurs at certain speeds, but this is not a fault but a structural feature. With ASIN automatic transmissions, worn-out hydraulic valves are encountered at higher mileage, leading to transmission problems. The problem is mainly to maintain the quality and regular oil change. In the case of sequential gearboxes, mechatronics failure, but also excessive bearing, clearance or worn gears can occur in the case of higher driving, which, in addition to various sounds, also reveals an excessive amount of metal waste in the oil. Oil change is recommended after 15,000 kilometers or 1 year, despite the manufacturer's regulations, 20,000 kilometers. Gasoline engines have a drive chain that does not have a specific replacement interval. Replacement with other components of the chain mechanism is necessary only when the noise is more pronounced. Diesel engines have a replacement interval set at 240,000 kilometers or 10 years, but it is recommended to shorten the interval to 160,000 kilometers or 8 years. For diesel engines, it is also worth adding an additive for a FAB filter called Infinium, usually 100,000 kilometers. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, and if you're the owner of this car, then share your experience. It will help others to choose a car. Goodbye.